If you want to know the story that Days on Market is telling in this market update, stay to the end and listen to what I have to tell you as we get through it. I'm Stephanie Deeds with Point Realty, and I am here with your March market update in 2026. If you are new to south of Cowtown with the Deeds, we do a market update for you every month. So if you would like to keep up what's going on in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex on the south side of Fort Worth, which we so lovingly call Cowtown, please tune in with us every month and we will share with you what is happening. So what I want to start with, like I mentioned in my intro, is the days on market, okay? Across the cities south of Cowtown, we have actually seen a little bit of a reduction, which I think is great and interesting in all the things. Okay, in Mansfield specifically, we went from 92 days down to 79 days. So that is encouraging. It means that things are moving a little bit faster and we are not quite so concerned with that days on market growing, okay? In Arlington, we went from 52 to 48. So that's not a huge change, but it does show a downward trajectory, and that is good news. Now, the interesting thing about the sales prices, and I kind of have been joking, like no news is kind of good news. Like there's not a lot of movement or change happening, which is a good thing. There's a lot of sort of crazy media about, you know, how bad the housing market is or whatever. It depends on what channel you watch. It depends on who you listen to. It depends on who you get your forecasting from. But really, it's kind of a non-story right now. I mean, if you look at Arlington at this time last year in 2025, the average sales price was $371,000, and right now it's $372,000. So how's that for a big major change? It's not one, right? And so that where the lack of appreciation could be considered not a great thing, the fact that it's not declining after the type of market we've been in with very high interest rates, lots of uncertainty, that is a good thing that we have not seen just a crazy reduction in sales prices, okay? And you know, in Midlothian, it was 525, and then this year it's 521, okay? So it's just not a huge amount of change, which, like I said, is good news. Now, if we look at the last 90 days, we did see actually a little bit of a dip in January and February. So what's a good example? In Midlothian, in January, the average sales price was $511, but it jumped up to $550 in February, and then right now it's at $520. So when we look at average sales prices, we really have to look at it over a period of time because there is so many different things happening. There's so many different factors. Are we looking at pre-owned? Are we looking at new construction? Builders typically have more room to move on their price rather than an individual who owns their home, and they're a little bit more, they have to get a certain amount out of it, that kind of thing. So what are we looking at more of, pre-owned or new construction? Are we looking at acreage or not acreage? Are we looking at houses that have been on the market for 5 days? Are we looking at houses that have been on the market for 60 days, right? So there's so many different things to take into account. And when you look at January, February, March, from a sales price perspective, it just shows you that real estate is a long-term trajectory type of investment that you have to pay attention to. You can't panic because something in January doesn't look great. It doesn't mean that March is not going to look better, right? Okay, so as far as number of closed sales, that's actually another interesting statistic. In some areas were the same, in some areas were better. Mansfield actually had the same number of closed sales in March of 2025 as we did in 2026, right? So the market is moving at about the same speed as it was, but with lower days on market. Now, if we look at Burleson, last year in March, we had 69 closed transactions, and in 26, we had 95 closed transactions. So that's about a 30% increase I just did that math. Are you impressed? That's about a 30% increase from 2025 to 2026. So that is very good. Now, Midlothian went from 85 to 79. 6 transactions over the course of the year that we went down. Not a huge indicator that things are changing necessarily. In Grand Prairie, 89 deals down to 86 deals. 3 is hardly anything to compare year over year. So all that to say, the number of closed sales is about the same as what we had last year, with actually a reduction in Arlington by a pretty significant amount, from 270 down to 226. So there's not as much traffic moving in Arlington, which is also interesting. I mean, I sell real estate. I think all of this is interesting. Are you bored yet? As far as average sales prices go, like I said, we're sort of on the same page where we were at this time last year. Days on market overall is starting to come down. The number of homes for sale, we do have, this is another interesting thing, less inventory than we had last year. We're expecting more inventory. Inventory is growing. In a lot of areas it is, but in this part of the Metroplex, south of Cowtown, we are seeing a reduction in the number of homes actually for sale. So if you would like more information about what's happening south of Cowtown, if you'd like specific information about your own house, if there's anything I can do, questions I can answer about what it would look like to make a purchase in this market, I would be honored and privileged to have a conversation with you about it. If you'd like to subscribe for this market update every month, or to look at our channel and see that we are doing community information, what's happening in the area, Mansfield versus Burleson, new construction, what coffee shops and restaurants and all those things that are popping up. We're looking at lifestyle, we're looking at tips for buyers, tips for sellers. We would love to share that information with you, so please click like and subscribe, South of Cowtown with the Deeds, and we will see you next time. I would never buy a home in Texas if it had this one thing, and I'm going to tell you exactly what that is. But more